What's up, y'all, and welcome to the very first episode of what I like to call the breakdown. Now, this is where we take a character, a controversy, a scene, and we break that character, controversy, or scene all the way down. We talk about it a lot more in depth, y'all. Now, today we're going to be talking about EFFIE Morales because EFFIE is hot out in these streets, y'all, and people are just not feeling EFFIE at all. A lot of people seem to think that EFFIE is selfish, that she is only out for herself, and that everything that she has done, she's just been dead wrong. So I want to dig deeper into this character. I want to talk about her. I want to tell you what my opinion is, and y'all know I want to hear about y'all opinion as well. So let's go ahead and jump into EFFIE Morales. Now let's go ahead and just start with how, they describe the character themselves on the Explore page. It says that EFFIE has always had to look out for herself, but after spending the summer with Tariq, she finds herself being vulnerable like never before. She plans to pay her way through grad school, then leave the drug business. And she's starting to envision Tariq in her future. To get there, however, she'll have to face a truth that could destroy everything between them. The secret that she killed Lauren Baldwin, y'all. So that is the way that they describe this character. So let's talk about some things that we've seen with the character. Now, we know that EFFIE was a love interest for Tariq when the show Power was on. We know that this is where we met this character. We met the character at Choate. She was a drug dealer there, and Tariq kind of came in and invaded on her territory. She got close to him, and then she ended up diming him out, y'all. She got him suspended, and this is where a lot of people are like, we just don't trust her. She already did this to him. But at the end of the day, was this a cold-hearted person, or was this just a young woman trying to survive, y'all?
Just hand it over.
Not until I apologize for Parents Weekend.
What for? You got me back for getting you kicked out of Choate.
It's not what I wanted to do.
Let's go ahead and move into EFFIE's past and where her future is headed. Now, we don't know a whole lot about EFFIE's past. We actually get very little information, but on this last episode, we could put a few things together. We could piece together that EFFIE did not come from a two-parent home, that she's had to pay for school using financial aid, some sort of financial assistance, and that it's been very difficult and hard for her. We also already know that EFFIE is extremely smart. I mean, she's landed herself into a private school like Choate. She also went to an Ivy League, Yale, also Stansfield, and then she's going to be going to Stanford as well. So she's extremely smart, and we know that she has a bright future ahead of her. However, we also learned that EFFIE has no intention of staying in the drug game. This is just a means to an end for her. We know that she's saving money because she doesn't want the debt of, all the loans that she has from her undergraduate. And then when she goes to grad school, she doesn't want all of that debt. So she's been saving her money. She pretty much drives a beater. She's not driving any type of flashy car or anything like that. So she truly does have a goal in mind. Now, Tariq kind of hits her with this, this thing out of nowhere where he says, hey, I want to come with you to California. And so now EFFIE can kind of see this future, something that she probably didn't see before because it's always just been her. She's always had to take care of herself. So let's go ahead and move into the controversy, y'all, because the controversy is the juicy part. This is the reason why most people just don't like EFFIE or have an issue with EFFIE. Now, we know that EFFIE, first and foremost, she dropped the dime on Tariq when they were at Choate. We also know that she's the one who told Kane about the wire that Lauren was wearing. We also know that she, quote unquote, killed Lauren. And we also know that she stepped on the drugs and she was going to sell them at Stansfield behind Tariq's back. So we thought. So those are some of the things that I've laid out that this character has done that has caused everybody to go crazy over her. So let's talk about each one of these things a little more in detail. So first, let's start with the fact that she told Kane about the wire. In my opinion, I think that she told him because she knew that Tariq wouldn't be able to do what he needed to do. This information was something that could possibly lead back to her. And I think what I actually like about this character, because I am one of those people who actually like this character, I have some issues with some of the things that she's done, but I do actually like the character. And as we learn more and more about her and you start to understand her a little bit more, I start to actually like her a little bit more. But she is very honest when she says that she didn't do what she would ultimately end up doing for Tariq. She did it for herself because she didn't want this to come back on her. She didn't want Brayden and Kane being on that wire to somehow lead back to her, which was, I mean, she has a point. It's not like it couldn't happen because we all see the case that they're building. So she did have a valid point there. But I did like the fact that she's honest with Kane about why she ultimately ends up doing what she does. Now, the other thing that she did, for example, stepping on the drugs and then about to sell them at Stansfield, I know a lot of people saw this as, oh my God, you know, she's just so wrong for this. And at the end of the day, I was one of those people. I was like, now I cannot ride with you on this one, Effie. Like, you got to be real with this. Like, you just don't go behind their back knowing that they got to pay NOMA and that people could actually die and all of this stuff. But then Effie makes a U-turn and she decides to tell Tariq about it. And she asks him instead, is he okay with it? You know, and he's cool with it. He gives her his blessing to do so. And this is one of those growth moments that I see in Effie, because at this point, I think she's starting to realize that she's not a lone wolf, that she doesn't have to be by herself, and that she has somebody who really rocks with her and cares about her. And so she showed that by, instead of going behind his back, and instead she said something to him. So I thought that that was a really good moment for her. Now let's talk about Choate, because that's a big hot topic for a lot of people, because they feel like, well, she told on him before, she got him in trouble, she got him suspended. But the way that I look at this is I look at this from a different angle. If we really think about it, in all drug things, you know, all the drug TV shows that we've watched, people have territories, you know, and you don't cross into other people's territories. Tariq came and crossed into Effie's territory, and she made a solid plan to get rid of him, to get him out of her territory. If this was anything else, more than likely that person would have been killed for crossing into their territory. You know, it's just something that you don't do. So what makes this any different? I mean, they're still selling drugs at the end of the day. So I thought that, you know, she did what she had to do. I don't feel like it was in any malicious way. And we do see when they come back, she tells him why she did what she did. She says something along the lines, have you ever did something that you didn't want to do, but you had to do? Actually, I'll just play the clip so you can see it for yourself.
Hey, back at Cho, I did what I had to do, but that doesn't mean that I liked it. Haven't you ever done anything you had to do, even if it was the last thing you wanted to do?
Now, in this moment, this is the moment that I think that Tariq sees Effie for who she is, and that they both see each other for who they really are. You know, that they are really perfect for each other. To be honest, they're both flawed, but at least they know who one another is, you know. And I think that was the most important part. And I think this is the reason why Tariq was able to move on and really forgive her. Because if we're honest, Tariq probably would have did the same thing if it had been in reverse. And let's just be real. If we really tell the truth about this whole Choate thing, at the end of the day, Tariq nor Brayden needed to sell drugs at Choate. They didn't need to do this. This was not survival for them. This was not something they were doing because they had to do it. This was something they were doing because they wanted to do it. This was something they were doing because it was a hobby to them in some way, form, or fashion. You know, Tariq got himself into all of this because he wanted to travel down this road to selling drugs and all of this stuff. So Effie getting him out of her territory, to me, was just what she had to do in order to make sure that she continued to take care of herself and that she continued to survive. So I had no issue with how that all went down. So those are my thoughts on that part. Now, the biggest and probably most explosive thing that people seem to have an issue with for Effie is the fact that she killed Lauren, quote unquote. Now, I have said, in a couple of my lives that she botched the whole thing. And that's my problem with it, is that you didn't actually complete the task. If you're going to do something like this, you gotta complete the task. You gotta get it right. She tried it. She made a great effort, but it just didn't work out. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that Effie has made to date. And the next part to go with that is that then she doesn't tell Tariq about it, and her and Brayden are keeping this huge secret. We all know that secrets are what destroy relationships, secrets and lies. And this big secret that she is holding is going to be what ultimately pulls these two apart. Because in my opinion, I think that Tariq would understand if she would have just told him from the beginning when she did it, if she told him why she did it. Because I feel like it's a move that he too would have done. We saw him kill Jabari in order to keep the secret, in order to get rid of someone who knew too much. So what's the difference in Effie getting rid of Lauren because she knew too much and she was doing too much? Now, do I think that she was wrong for killing Lauren? I think that it was necessary, but I think we've seen it time and time again where people have killed someone that they really, really loved in this power universe. There was Tommy when he had to kill Holly, and we know that Holly and Tommy had this crazy connection and that Tommy really cared about her. But when it all came down to it, he had to get rid of her, and he did it. And then there was, Tasha when she had to kill Lakeisha because, there was the possibility that she might give out some information that, she was literally about to tell it. We all knew that Lakeisha wasn't ride or die, but, Tommy loved her regardless. So I just feel like there are times when characters in this universe have had to make choices like this. But Tariq wasn't going to make this choice. He was trying to help her get away. But I don't think that Lauren was going to be on the up and up, y'all. Like, I really don't think that if it ever came down to her self-preservation or Tariq, that she would choose herself each and every time. I don't think they had a tight enough bond for her to choose anyone but herself. And honestly, I wouldn't even expect her to choose anyone but herself. So, there's that, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think everyone in this show has done something for themselves. They have been selfish in some way, form, or fashion, and Effie is no different. But it feels like she doesn't get a pass, but everybody else does. Lauren wore that wire so that she didn't get caught, so that she didn't get in trouble, so that her parents wouldn't find out about the drugs that were in her room, And she says that, Brayden was the target and that she did this for Tariq. But at the end of the day, did she really? Because this was Tariq's friend, one of his only closest friends, right? Tariq has lost everything. Tariq has no father. He has no mother at this point. His sister is gone. His grandmother is on a bench somewhere. Like, literally, he has no one, but he has Brayden. This is one of his closest friends. So instead, you wear a wire to try to get him to implicate his own friend. I don't see how that helps Tariq. I don't see how that is in his best interest in any way, form, or fashion. I still feel like I feel like she was looking out for herself, like every other character in this show has done, maybe except for Brayden. I feel like Brayden is probably the only person who has not looked out for himself. And we'll talk about him in another episode of The Breakdown, y'all. But getting back to this whole Effie thing, my whole point in talking about that particular aspect with Lauren is that everybody has done something to protect themselves at some point inside of the television show. And now, I will say this, going back to the thing that she does at Stansfield, I will say that I've always stood by the fact that this was not a great idea. I personally don't think that she should bring heat back to Stansfield. Now, I know that she feels like since, it's her, it won't implicate Tyreek, but she has to know and be smarter knowing that they are still going to be snooping around there, that you can't do the same things. I mean, Course Perfect was silly. Like, that just didn't make no sense for somebody as smart as she is. So she definitely dropped the ball there. But I don't think it's a reason to say that she's evil and that she's the devil. I just think that, she made a not so smart decision. So anyway, y'all, listen, I get it. I understand, this character Effie is coming up in here. And now that we are all in love with Tariq, now that we no longer hate Tariq, we see her as a threat, as someone who is wronging him and doing something that is just so crazy to him. And we don't really want to rock with her. We think that how she's moving is kind of sus. And I get that, Tariq is now the character that we love, and we want to protect this character. But at the end of the day, even Tariq has done a lot of selfish things, y'all. Take a look at this.
Myself on the line for you one too many times, Reek.
You lied to me. You stole from me.
Are you being held against you?
I won't tell. I won't tell. I swear.
Tariq, if you do this shit, you can never go back.
Now, the difference is that Tariq always says that everything that he does is always in the best interest of trying to protect those that he loves. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is just to protect himself. What makes Effie so different from any of the other characters that have decided to choose themselves and to be selfish? I don't know, y'all. You tell me. Go ahead and get the conversation started down below. Let me know what y'all think about this whole Effie situation. Would you like to see more of this segment? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Meanwhile, guys, if you like this video, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, YouTube says that you might just like this video next, so go ahead and take a look. Until next time, guys. Peace.